We are back. We are back. How's everybody doing? Man? Welcome, man. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Please don't mind in what's right here in the back. The story I'm about to tell you, I probably won't help it out, but please don't mind the back. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We had a fun-filled weekend full of staying inside. If y'all haven't gotten it yet, Black Ops 6 came out a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. Same time as the NBA season started, but 2 weeks ago, and with it, zombies. And the other day I'd asked my girlfriend, I was like, hey, do you wanna play zombies? Because she used to play zombies and multiplayer and whatnot. Just trying to get her to play with me and hang out. And so ever since then we have been playing nonstop. So let's start with Friday, right after Halloween. We ended up watching Beetlejuice, so that was fun. Solid movie. Played zombies, and then through the weekend we were playing zombies even through daylight savings, the clock going backwards. We didn't even realize what was going on. So yeah, we got up to like level 32, 34, something like that, with my brother too, and my boy Joel. So yeah, man, that's been fun. That's what we've been doing. We just hung out the other night. We walked to the grocery store, had some steak, shrimp, wine, and then played some zombies. So it was great. Great. And we watched some basketball as well too along the way. So that was fun. I hope all of y'all have had a great weekend, and let's get into this week, man. Let's tackle this week.
Amongst themselves. So I knew I wasn't doing good. I don't remember what I was saying. It just took one person to break the ice. It's a black lady with the Ford Motor shirt on. Stood up suddenly. Fuck you, Dave Chappelle. I said, excuse me? She said, I worked all week for this shit, and this show sucks. And in a weird act of racial harmony, a conservative white guy stood up and backed her up. Yeah! The whole crowd band together and started chanting, we want our money back. We want our money back. I said, oh shit. I snapped out of it. Good people of Detroit, hear me now. You will never get your fucking money back. Fuck that. I said, I'm like Evel Knievel. I get paid for the attempt. I didn't promise this shit would be good.
And there is Dave Chappelle. But yeah, we've had the start of the season. This is our 2-week notice. We're talking about the first 2 weeks of the NBA season. But before I get into it, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. And welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball, sports, and any other topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. Now, we're going to be talking about the power rankings today. In a little bit, we're going to be talking about some of the stat leaders as well too. But like I said, it's only been 2 weeks, right? It's only been 2 weeks. It's been the first 2 weeks of the NBA. Vote Dick for MVP. I still can't believe they did that jersey swap, dog. That was diabolical work. It was good, Elijah. But we're gonna be talking about the first 2 weeks, and we're gonna be talking about Canada today. And your Toronto Raptors. But before we get into the basketball stuff, let's get into that. So we got some more on the way, bro. I can't, like, of all the things to be in the news for right now, like, of all the things to be on the news for, like they could have picked nothing else to be on the news for. Thankfully, they won that game against the Sacramento Kings. What was that? That was the Vince Carter jersey night, right? And you know, it was great that your Toronto Raptors got the win. What are they now? Let's see. Let me see. Where are your Toronto Raptors? They are 2-5, so I'm really glad that they got that win. But the story of the night had nothing to do with the actual game. Let's take a look at this.
Sure. Yes, if you ever put a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to your question. Sure.
Yes. And then he followed that up by saying, like, go Kyle Lowry or something like that. And then this is the DeMar DeRozan response.
Podcast. Drake said, if you ever put up the DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. What's your reaction to that?
Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down. So tell him good luck.
DeMar,
and so, of all of the things on the docket for this week, right? Drake versus DeMar DeRozan beef was not one that I thought I was gonna be that I thought I was gonna see that we'd be talking about, but here we are. I mean, Drake is for Toronto, right? And obviously with, you know, DeMar being in the music video, like you said, you know, why would Drake go into that? And then on top of that, let's be honest at what this is too, right? Like, Drake plays a character almost, right? Like he has to play into some of this. He's an entertainer, and he gets paid the amount of money that he gets paid for a reason, because anytime he's in front of a camera, he's performing damn near. And so I think this is you know, this is funny, you know, because obviously some people are gonna make this out to be like, I'm sure they'll probably be fine somewhere down the line. I think Drake was with Future or something earlier last week or whatnot. So, hey, man, it is what it is. But I do appreciate the fact that, you know, he stands with his team. Like, that's what a fan is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to be your team and fuck everybody else, right? And I see nothing wrong with that. And I see nothing wrong with the way that DeMar responded. So, but yeah, because what is he like the point leader? Let's see. Is it DeMar? Let's see. Games, field goals, assists, no, total points. Total points is DeMar DeRozan. And then Kyle Lowry, Chris Bosh, Vince Carter. So I see why he would. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's probably the deeper part of this beef, right? Of that whole thing is he got shown who his actual friends are in the music industry, and if you've heard of anything when it comes to the music industry, that's a dirty game that they play, and we get to just dance around and whatnot at the clubs or at parties or at the bar or whatnot, but that's a dirty business, and they play a dirty game. So, Amen. He got shown who his friends are in the industry, and it looks like he didn't have a lot. So, and it looks like he's still standing with Toronto. So that's his team, and like I said, he's a super fan. This is what super fans are supposed to be like, right? Like Spike Lee was doing all this when he was younger. Like it was fuck everybody else, right? Even if they did have a relationship on the court, they play into that stuff, right? It's entertainment. It's entertainment, unfortunately. Now, to go from one quote to another, now Austin Rivers has been doing his best job to get into the headlines recently as well too. So let's take a look at what Austin Rivers had to say.
Right. He's extremely talented as a basketball player. Probably the most skilled center in the NBA. He's probably the most skilled center in the NBA.
Well, Jokic is the most skilled center in the NBA.
I don't think so.
How so? The guy's he picks apart every team he plays against. That's skill.
That's because he has the highest IQ.
But he also can shoot too. He can do everything.
Can't shoot like Carl.
He can't shoot like Carl.
No. Can't shoot like. They're not even in the same realm of shooting.
And Carl can't pass the way Jokic is. Probably the best passer in the NBA. People talk about.
I didn't say he's better than Nikola.
Well, passing is a skill.
That's one skill. What else is he better at?
So you're gonna go ahead and say this right now because
brother, if you talk about offensive package, bro, Carl is a better scorer in almost every attribute of the game over.
All right. Now he's there, and they were getting a little bit into it right there, but Austin Rivers thinks that Karl Anthony Towns is more skilled than Nikola Jokic or Nikola. However people like to pronounce his name. And we're back at it, right? Skill is always a topic when it comes to the NBA. And on the surface of it, right? I see what Austin Rivers is saying. Right? Because Karl Anthony Towns scored 60, and in that game he was hunting to score more in the fourth quarter, and he just got cold and he just started missing. And so you're looking at someone that has that type of offensive explosion, the ability to explode like that. And when you see him attack the basket, he has his Euro steps. He has a lot of moves, and he's very mobile. And we've talked about skill as things that you can practice and perfect, right? It's not some God-given gift. And I know that I spoke about the triple-double in Jokic just a week ago, right? And how that could potentially affect the team. However, this narrative on assists needs to stop. Right? That's passing is the one skill. As if passing is just, you just make one pass, and as if there aren't different aspects of passing. Right? Having the touch on the way he throws lob passes, or when he lobs passes to Aaron Gordon above the defense. He could throw bounce passes. We've seen him laser passes to the corner. You take the ability to predict when things are happening, right? To pass people open. Jokic can do all of those things. And so, yes, maybe passing is one of the few things that Jokic clearly is better than these guys in terms of skill. Right? I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is a better rebounder than him too, by the way, right? But in terms of skill, But let's not minimize the fact that his ability to pass closes the gap on the skill that some people might think that exists between him and other players, because he's slower, because he doesn't move, right? Almost every on the basketball is a skill. I wish people knew that being able to cut even when you don't get the ball is a skill. Small stuff like that is why I put guys over others, but it's hard to explain. 100%, right? The learning curve in basketball is that all of these little things are the things that can make you better, right? And like I said, I see what Austin Rivers is trying to say, but even if you look at it, Jokic can hit all of the step backs like Karl Anthony Towns can. He can hit the floaters. He could shoot the three. And honestly, right, I was looking at it because I was like, man, I know that for a fact this year, Jokic is having a career year in three-point shooting because he's shooting 59% from the field. And then you go look at Karl Anthony Towns, and right now he's shooting 64% from the three. So, yes, Karl Anthony Towns is a better shooter than him. But he can't post up the way Jokic can. I don't even think that's close. So the way that there's such an emphasis on the dribble and the step back game in the NBA, that kind of shows it right there, right? See, like I said, I can see where Austin Rivers is kind of going, but when you explain the two players further, it's really not like that. Because like I said, Karl Anthony Towns can't post up the way Jokic can. He can't dictate an offense the way Karl Anthony Towns can. And yes, I get Austin Rivers said that he knows he's not better. He never said that he's better. But like we said, all of these different things are a part of the skill of the game that Jokic has a ton of. It annoys me too that they say him and Luka is not athletic, but they are, in my opinion. They do what they need to be on the floor. Luka dunks on centers and Jokic outruns AD. Gary Trent and Cade are too. Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second as well too, right? Athletic guys who are limited because of it. Because of the Zachary Risache quote. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second as well. But yeah, this idea that skill is just shooting or dribbling a basketball, and like I said, Jokic does so much on the basketball floor. So no, I actually don't think that this is quite. This is I think it's probably closer than some people might think, in the sense of Jokic is a much better player than Karl Anthony Towns. And like, you know, Cat is a really skillful player. Don't get me wrong. He was great the other night. We'll talk about the Knicks later, but more skilled than Jokic, I find that hard to believe. I find that really hard to believe. And I guess the other part too, right? This idea of having a bag, it really has gotten overblown. Because you have more moves, because you're able to do more. I mean, that could be one fact, right? You do have more moves in your arsenal. That's great. It doesn't equate to a better production or a higher output. Like, I saw some people talking the other day about how deep Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's bag is, and I was like, I mean, he has a ton of great moves. He has the ball on a string. And I get that when you look at his highlights and people are cutting him off and he's able to have counters and escape them, it might look like he has this really deep bag. But when you watch him play for 48 minutes, I mean, you know what he's going to do. He's going to drive left. He's going to give you the shoulder bump. If you go back, he's just going to take a little sidestep or step back and shoot. If not, he's going to bump. He's going to spin. The problem is stopping it. Yes, KD doesn't need a bag like Freddie V because you're not stopping the first one. Yeah, another one, right? And that's not to say that they don't have a great handle on the ball. They're just not doing a whole bunch of different moves. Oh, a lot of the time they do the same ones over and over again. Shea really plays off of his shoulders if you really watch him. He really plays off of his left and right shoulder. It really dictates when he drives. If you see him, he'll get the ball high, and he does it all the time when the shot clock is winding down, right? I think he likes to go left too. He likes to shoot left, but he also really likes to go right. However they react to that first shoulder bump will determine whether he's going to step back, he'll spin, he'll come back, dribble, cross. And that's when he has to counter, and then he starts to have a bag when they start, doing things a little bit different. But like I said, having a bag, sometimes I think it almost makes it too difficult for certain guys. It's as if they have too many that they don't know what to go with. If that makes sense, right? Because in a game that's so fast and you have to react to things, right? And against the best players in the world, a little moment of hesitation is the difference between making a move or not making a move. And I think sometimes when you see guys that have too many moves, kind of like Wemby, and they're kind of thinking about these things, right? As opposed to just, all right, this is my go-to. If they cut it off, I'm going to just go here and figure it out. But hey, that's and I think, like I said, that goes back to Jokic, where Jokic, you know what he's gonna do. You know what he's gonna do, right? If he's driving right, he's gonna try to also shoulder bump you. If he can get into a floater, he'll probably hezzy the spin, half spin, try to spin back, right? And then if he just plays off of this shoulder game the whole time. Whichever way you go, he's just going to go. And then if not, he has a step through. And then he just, the simple stuff. Like, what did they say in school? Right, less, right? Make the things that you do really sharp. Just make it really good. And that's where you get the best players in the world. I appreciate you, dog. I appreciate you. But, hey, man, and I'm doing my homework. By the end of the year, I'm gonna get all of these guys fucking move sets down. I got you. I'm gonna have like in the fighting games, the move sets. I got you. Yeah, because sometimes we've watched a lot of basketball, and you have to watch a lot of games from front to back. Right, to notice the little things that people do, right? So like Shea, if on the first play he realizes that somebody is dropping back, he'll probably and he's dribbling to the left, he'll probably just sidestep into a three. And then if they push up, he'll shoulder bump and get into his little moves. But you have to watch the game from front to back to be able to notice these things, right? And I think that's the thing that gets lost in a lot of fans watching just a bunch of highlights. And I think for younger players getting into the league, that's the hard part, right? Because up until they get into the NBA, a lot of them probably aren't watching film. They don't know what to look for. They don't know how to really scout people, and it's like, And then, the homework is really where you get the gap in the NBA, right? Knowing where people are going to be when they're going to be there. But hey, man, we're working on it. We're working on it. What else we got? Now, speaking of which, let's get into this just a little bit, right? So they put out the other day, they put out the power rankings for the NBA going into this week. Let's take a look at it together. So we have the Oklahoma City Thunder sitting at number 1 right now. They're 6-0, 95.1 defensive rating is, like, wow. Like, wow. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're averaging 121 points right now. Number 2 at 7-0. Celtics are 6-1. Suns are at number 4. Warriors make it into the top 5 at 5-1, and then my Knicks are 6th. So going into the start of the season, there's been a lot of turnover, at least with the Cleveland Cavaliers being up there. I think it's probably something a lot of us didn't expect, myself included. And honestly, the other night, they were flirting with their first loss. I don't know if y'all saw that, but against the Milwaukee Bucks, they were flirting with their first loss. Dame hit a step-back shot on the left wing, a two-pointer. And then Donovan Mitchell got on an ISO. Who the hell was guarding him? Now, the Celtics are 3rd right now. They're 3rd behind the OKC, the Cavaliers, and then it's the Boston Celtics. They're 3rd. They were number 1 last week. And they are 6-1 right now. But Donovan Mitchell hit a game winner on the Milwaukee Bucks, which dropped them. And honestly, here we should probably look at the bottom half of this shit too while we're at it. The Milwaukee Bucks are sitting at 26th, 1-5. They're giving up 116.7 points per game, and they're scoring 109.7 per game. I think Dame and Giannis right now are averaging like almost 60 together. So a little over half of their points are coming from 2 players only. Philadelphia 76ers are 27th. Paul George is making his return tonight, so that's something to watch out for. Tyrese Maxey has been averaging 29 though, so hey, that's something to look out for. Let's not. The Portland Trailblazers. I mean, it's the Portland Trailblazers. The Washington Wizards. And the Utah Jazz. I mean, look at that. You're not in the bottom 4. These guys are ass. I'm not going to lie to you. These guys are ass. These guys are a little bit better. They're all right. I don't even know. Ass. But the Milwaukee Bucks I think they're not playing well at all, but it's also because of the expectation and the star players that they have. That's why ass. The Pistons also ass. I don't even know how the fuck they won last night. But they're ass. And here we are. Your Toronto Raptors, 2-5, averaging 113 and giving up 118. Jesus. No, these guys, the Pistons are ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. Those guys are actually horrible. But yeah, I think, obviously it's a lot of guys that are getting into the groove of the season. I think honestly, for me, the biggest takeaway, really, out of all of the teams, has been the Golden State Warriors. Because Clay leaving, myself included, right? I'm not just saying everybody, but they don't really have that much of a roster, if we're being honest. Questions about Draymond coming back, Buddy Hield being able to shoot, and obviously the way he's been shooting, and for them to have gone 5-1 to start the year, honestly, I don't think they've really played anyone significant as of late. But I mean, you still got to win the games that you're given, and the fact that they've been doing it without Steph Curry, I think, is a good sign, right? And then Steph is gonna come in and do his thing, and they'll get better with him on the roster, while these guys are, gaining confidence. Let me see, who did they play? Rockets. They beat the Pelicans twice, which they're another one. The Pelicans suck. Like, the Pelicans suck, bro. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Jazz. They beat Portland. So they beat some, they beat some pretty bad teams. But, they get a test. I think this week they play Boston. The Warriors do. They play Boston, Cleveland, OKC, and Washington. So they'll be lucky. They'll be lucky to get 2 wins in this week, because more than likely they'll be leaving this week 4. So what? Maybe 6-4. Maybe. So we'll get to see how the Warriors look. But that's been the surprise, because let's be honest, right? The way the league works, if they would have lost those last 3 games, right, they'd be 2-4 right now going into this week, potentially going 3-7, and the Golden State Warriors would look totally different. Just so y'all can get a glimpse into how this shit really works in the standings. So it was really big that they got those wins early on, because like I said, it could go really bad, and it could go really bad before you know it. Now, speaking of, some of the best players around the league, let's talk about one of the best teams in the world, because we're at it again with this world championship shit. Euroleague coach Ergin Ataman, he coaches the Panathinaikos. I hope I'm saying that properly. But he said, the Celtics are not world champions. You are only NBA champs. We are the EuroLeague champions. If you want to be the world champions, come and play us. Beat us, and then, okay, you'll be world champions. Like why? Like, why are we still doing this, bro? Like, I'm genuinely concerned that some people really still think like this. Like, let's see, right? Let's see. Where is this past season? Let's see. All right. So, and let's take a look at this shit together, right? And this is no disrespect to nobody, right? No, absolutely no disrespect to anyone whatsoever, right? But their leading guy is Kendrick Nunn. 27 minutes, shooting 41% from 3, 44% from the field, 3.1 assists, 2.7 rebounds, 16 points per game. Lil Uzi challenging Nas. Like, all right. And, you know, he's had a bunch of hurt seasons, but his best season, damn near, was his rookie year. 15.3 points per game, almost 30 minutes of action. I mean, like, what are we talking about? Like, it gets to a point where these guys weren't even stars on their teams. Like I thought about it the other day, right? A lot of these international guys, when they go into their international teams, like Manu Ginobili back in the day, or I'm thinking like Carlos Arroyo, or even like a Patty Mills, when they go into their NBA team, they are never the guy. They're never the number one option. Outside of Manu, I mean, Manu was the third option. No one was ever on that level. The only exception, at least this past summer, was Dennis Schroeder, who on the Brooklyn Nets is that guy. And a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Canada. Right? And you're talking about a roster, right? The Panathinaikos. You have Jerian Grant, 8.6 points. Hernan Gomez, 4 points. These guys aren't even making NBA teams. Talking about come play us to the Boston Celtics. You guys are going to have a challenge playing the bottom teams. I don't even think you beat the bottom teams, if we're being honest. Let Jordan Poole and them get hot. Jordan Poole had 17 in the first quarter, but they were against the Boston Celtics, and they got handled pretty easily. What happens if Jordan Poole has 17 in the first quarter against you guys? What happens? Rondae Hollis-Jefferson literally, like, that has turned into Kobe when he went overseas. Look at his height. No, for real. For real. And we've talked about confidence, right? A part of the reason why these guys can perform the way that they do over there is when you know no one can fuck with you. That confidence gets you to do some outer body of experience type shit. It don't feel like that for them in the NBA. It feels like that for them in any other league but the NBA. The NBA is the collection of all the best players from all of these different leagues and organizations and schools. That's what the NBA is. It's like if you had like a school for scientists. No, it's where all the best scientists from all these different places go to be with the other best scientists. That's what the NBA is. It's the best of the best. And so when you hear a quote from number 1 draft pick, Zachary Risache, right? This past season, he said, and I quote, "Back in France, I was super athletic. Now, I'm just a regular dude." And mind you, this is a guy that the NBA drafted at number 1. Yeah, you could say that the class wasn't deep. There weren't a lot of players, but they scouted him and they got to the conclusion that he was, a top pick in this league. And kills in every other league. But over here, He feels like he's just a regular dude. And that's why, to your point, Elijah, people say that Jokic and Luka Doncic aren't athletic. When you put them next to LeBron, Tatum, Anthony Edwards, a De'Aaron Fox, a Russell Westbrook. Yeah, when you put them against not only the best basketball players, but the most athletic basketball players in the world, some people might say the best athletes in the world, then yes, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic are not athletic. Hell, Tyrese Halliburton probably isn't even athletic in this league. But compared to everyone else, they're probably superhumans. Right? It's not even close. It just goes to show you how great the NBA is. And like I said, when you watch these games, and not just the highlights, when you watch these games, the stuff that they're able to do in real time at full speed, it's really impressive. And then you take into account all the plays that they're running, the sets, having to recognize all of these different things. The NBA is the greatest league in the world, and it's not even close. I don't understand what these guys be seeing, bro. I genuinely, you want to play the Boston Celtics? Like the Boston Celtics? Like, bro, the teams in the NBA don't even want to play the Boston Celtics. Like, what are these guys talking about, bro? Like, come on. But I think there was a comment, I think, during the World Series. They're like, oh, we're the world champions or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, man. A lot and I think like the rest of the world, right? I think a lot of these guys are only seeing like us, the rest of the world, they're just seeing these guys on TV. And not understanding Jayson Tatum is all of 6'10", maybe 6'11", moving as quick and as fast as he does, dribbling the ball, like getting into the teeth of the defense. What are we talking about here, bro? Like, bruh. What else we got? What else we got over here? Oh. I got some people talking to me about my New York Knicks in my comments because I was super pessimistic, right, about how this year might go. And, I used Tom Thibodeau's history to kind of back that up, right? Being under 500 in his playoff career, his lack of success with Karl Anthony Towns in the past. Excuse me. But the other night, they looked really good. Now, I will say that those games, right, the last two games, Karl Anthony Towns having 44 and shooting the lights out. Jalen Brunson he shot like 60% from three in like 34, 35 minutes and had like 36 points, something crazy like that. Those games are kind of anomalies, right? They can't just be on opposite ends of the spectrum consistently, right? But when you watch the game, they did a lot of things on offense really well. They look different from from the way that a lot of NBA teams are playing right now, honestly. It was, all right, maybe we'll do a high pick and roll with Brunson and Towns, kick. All right, next time we're going to hit Anunoby on the post up, back cuts. They were doing a lot of different things on offense. It was actually really great to see. The ball was moving. There's a lot of flow. Players were moving, cutting, picking for each other. So it looked really great. But like I said, I wonder how consistent will that be, because we know how Tibbs is when times get tough. He reverts to his, the way that he likes to coach. Will he have the ability to stick to some of these things? Because Karl Anthony Towns was great that night too. I know that Brunson ended up kind of stealing the show, but Karl Anthony Towns, he was getting his shots over here on pick and pops, post ups. All right, get it, drive. It was a lot of basketball, which you love to see. They were playing basketball. It wasn't just high pick and roll, driving kick, right? So that was really, really great to see. But like I said, it's a small sample size. And, moving forward, Brunson most likely be beat the hell up by playoffs. I need to watch them again. But that's the thing, though, right? Karl Anthony Towns is supposed to relieve some of that pressure. And the thing about Towns is he's not necessarily a post-up big. But what he can do is he can pull the bigs out because he can shoot the shit out of the ball. But then he can also take them off the dribble and drive. And so if they're able to get him really going and moving and get him into great spots to score and be aggressive, then yeah, this can work. Because Anunoby and Bridges, assuming Bridges, will catch his stride and fix whatever the fuck is going on with his jump shot, they can both shoot the ball. Brunson can shoot the ball. Hart has shown that he can also shoot the ball. You have a lot of shooting on the floor. Playmakers with a Brunson, with a Bridges, Anunoby, they can all play make, right? And I guess for me, this is where coaching is important. Because when you have so many players that could do so many things, you mean catapult, man? I mean that's kind of what he is. But when you have players that could do a little bit of everything, right? How can you manage the game so that they're leaning towards their strengths, right? Yo, stop. I hate the little, he has it's fucking weird, dog. It's fucking weird. I hate how he shoots right now, bro. It looks fucking weird. But yeah, if they can get everybody in their right spots, and then have everyone kind of play off of it when the game needs to, if I'm making any sense at all, I think that would really work for them, because we have a lot of talent on the team. Like I said, everyone can do a little bit of everything. Can we keep everyone in the right spots to be successful? And I think, honestly, that brings me, because that thought just brought me back to the Denver Nuggets. Because, I have my reservations about the Denver Nuggets this year as well. But when you look at the Denver Nuggets, right, it's not because they're lacking in talent at all. He looks like the middle schooler that joined the team because he has a good basketball body. No, stop. See. Now you just see. Now you body shaming Mikal. Look, his jump shot broke, body all fucked up, looking like the alien from Men in Black, bro. Chill. Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. The Denver Nuggets. Yes, Jokic. I'm gonna ask a question, right? Because we always people keep talking about the Denver Nuggets, how they haven't made any trades, they haven't made any moves, right? How about their players just get better? How about their players get better? It's okay, the Raptors guys got at what point are we gonna start telling Michael Porter, okay, hey, we need you to start, getting a little bit of a post up, right? You need to be able to start 1-2 dribble, or get to the cup and get lays. Like, you got to start adding one of those three that I just named. Or like a Aaron Gordon, who, I'm sure a couple years ago, especially in his Orlando days, we all saw his workouts, the way he would dribble, his ISO game. Like, why are we not maximizing these two more? I get that Jokic can do everything on the floor, but why not get these guys into some of these positions so that they can relieve a little bit of pressure on Jokic? They can relieve a little bit of pressure off Jamal Murray. I had the realization, you see flashes with Aaron Gordon, right? There's some games where he's like, shit, I gotta start shooting. you start seeing him get into his bag a little bit, but you know for a fact that he's like on standby mode, right? He don't get to fully let his game out. And then when you look at a Michael Porter Jr., I know everybody laughs that the ball stops with him, that he gonna shoot it every time, which is it's great. It's fine. He's a great shooter, but at what point are you gonna start expecting him to? Okay, are you gonna be the best shooter, or are you gonna start adding stuff to your game? Because they already have the best player in the game, arguably the best player in the game in Jokic. At what point are these guys going to maximize their talent and their skills and level the team up with him? But, that's just some food for thought. Because, like I said, I think those guys, especially coming into the league, you have two guys that Aaron Gordon is like 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Michael Porter is like 6'9", 6'10". You have tall, lanky guys that are versatile. And one guy is just in here dunking the ball. The other guy is just shooting a three. And that's pretty much it. And then Jokic is over here fucking pirouetting, doing the most to get a point, to get a pass. And it's like, well, you have two guys that could do a little bit more. Why don't you let them? Or why don't, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just a thought that I had, because I'm very confused about this Denver Nuggets team, man. I'll be honest with you, I'm very confused. Now, I don't know if y'all saw this the other day, but the Charlotte Hornets had a meltdown against the Boston Celtics. Did y'all see that shit? Let me try to find it real quick. They had an absolute meltdown. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, at what point do you start expecting more out of the players that you already have? Like I said, those guys, it's not like they're bad players at all. They're actually super talented. They have athleticism. They're good. It's just, they're stuck doing the same shit. If AR did more, they would be getting paid. That is true too. I mean, I will say, I think Dalton Connect, I think he's gonna be a better replacement for AR. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh no, so this was like a Friday game, I think then. I don't know if y'all saw this, but let's see. Let me try to pull it up right now. The other night when the Hornets and the Boston Celtics were playing, Grant Williams absolutely floored Jayson Tatum. Let's take a look at it.
Bridges the miss. Tatum the rebound. He discarded LaMelo. He got crushed by Williams at half court. Look out. Former teammates. And Tatum got up in a hurry.
So that got upgraded to a flagrant 2 foul on Grant Williams, right? So he got ejected, shot the free throws. He made 2. And then off of the inbound play, Tatum got fouled on his 3-point attempt. So he shot 3 free throws, right? So it was, he had a total of 5, and I think Peyton Pritchard ended up getting like fouled again. So it was like 7 free throws that they ended up getting in that little span. But that was the first time. What the fuck was that? Yeah, a lot happened in a little span, right? The game was a little bit tight, and then Tatum, you know, he got the flagrant 2 foul call against Grant Williams, and then he got fouled on a 3-pointer. I think he was confused as to, I think he thought that another player had grabbed him, and I think he was just trying to like just get away from the situation. He was cool though, but that was the very first time I ever saw an interaction between the referees and Jayson Tatum, and thought to myself, oh shit, he might actually be a superstar now. That was the first time. The first time I had ever seen an interaction between Jayson Tatum and the referees, and thought he might be a superstar. And listen, things change in the NBA very quickly, right? If you've watched the NBA as long as I have, things change very quickly. So pay attention to the narrative on Jayson Tatum. When you look at comments, the narrative is shifting a little bit. I was watching a little bit of the Club 520 interview with Jayson Tatum earlier, and the comments were, oh shit, I didn't think he was da-da-da-da-da, or oh da-da-da-da-da. It's slowly changing. I'm sure starting 5 helped a little bit with that too. We've talked about the closeted Jayson Tatum fans. They're also going to start shifting as well when it's cooler, right? When it's okay to all of a sudden be a Jayson Tatum fan. So that was the first time. And he's going to the free throw line a ton right now. He's had a really poor shooting stretch from 3 after his hot start. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the MVP narrative starts in the next couple weeks for Jayson Tatum. You start watching games and they start looking a little bit funny, right? Hey, just tell him I told you first, right? Just tell him I told y'all first, because I could see it. Like I said, I think before he probably wouldn't have gotten that. They probably would have. He might have gotten the flagrant, but they probably would have. They would have let the 3 go, and he wouldn't have gotten that. But the fact that they gave both to him, to me, was a sign that they're protecting their star player, one of their superstar players in the league. And that's what it signaled to me. So, you know, the Boston Celtics are obviously rolling. I've said before, I've been saying this, I think they have a really good chance of winning the championship this year. And I say that even with the Cleveland Cavaliers and even with the Oklahoma City Thunder rolling the way that they've been, I think the Celtics are still the team to beat. So, with that said, that's going to do it for me for now. There's I think there's 15 games tonight. All 30 teams are playing. we'll see how many of them I get to watch, because that's a lot of fucking games. I will tune in because I want to see how Paul George looks coming back. There was another game. I think I was gonna watch the Lakers game because I haven't really watched the Lakers as much, just to see how they're looking. And AD looks like he's having himself a good start to this year. MVP talks potentially, maybe he's at like 33-12 or some shit like that. Demar's a Hey, speaking of Sacramento, I've tuned into a couple of their games. They don't look too bad. I will say I do think it's just like a personality type thing. DeMontis he needs to just start going at these fools, man. Like if DeMontis decides I'm gonna go be the best player in this league, I'm not saying he will be, right? I think it'll put a ton of pressure on the other teams, and really free up everyone else. Right now is get everybody involved, and it works, right? But at some point, you got to be able to turn the switch and say fuck all this shit, and be able to dominate a game. But I don't know. He's a really nice guy. I'm a fan of his, especially because it's starting five. But we'll see. Do look too good either. Look at that 3-3 DeMar playing both sides again. But hey, that they're gonna have a tough time, man. The West is tough. I mean, if Cleveland keep rolling like this, that's another name in the hat. That's another team in the hat, that they're gonna have to deal with in the East. But hey, man, we're gonna watch some games tonight. That's gonna do it for me for now. As always, you could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, man. I'll see y'all later. Peace out, Elijah.